Awesome, man. I'm going to record this call because I think there's going to be a lot of value if you don't mind.
Sure.
Awesome, man. How's your day so far? Where are you calling from?
I'm actually from Pakistan.
Right on. Whereabouts in Pakistan?
So it's actually near Afghanistan. It's called Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. It's a province.
Oh, nice. Awesome. How,
Yeah.
how have you been there your whole life?
Yeah, I have been my whole life.
Awesome, man. How'd you hear about like the AI agency wanting to build like an AI business?
Yeah, so actually, I think a month ago, I was surfing on YouTube and there I came upon a video. It was titled as Top 5 Skills in 2024. And so when I just opened it up, it talked about one of the skill was actually AI automations. Yeah, so since then I have been exploring AI automations and I really have been fascinated by it. And particularly, I'm more into AI chatbots and AI voice agents.
Right on. So you messaged me earlier. You said you looked into like voice flow. What other chatbots and agents have you been looking into?
So I have just used chat-based and voice flow. And what I actually do is I watch YouTube videos and I watch them making chatbots.
Awesome. And how difficult is it? I've heard mixed reviews with the voice flow is it can be complicated or complex.
So
Logic.
far, so far it's going good. Like I'm getting all. Whatever I watch, I am able to build like every functions, every intent.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
And you carry on. What were you saying?
Gotcha. And this is, I wanted to ask you, since you wanted to build an AI agency, primarily like your main service you'd want to focus on are going to be building these voice flow agents or like these chatbots, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. Right on. So tell me a little bit more about the customers that you want to approach or your ideal clients. Who are you looking to serve and what problems are these chatbots going to solve?
So right now, I don't have any plans for running an AI automation agency. I want to work as a developer.
Okay.
So like I told you, I am at a very early stage. And like this meeting, it won't be a very expert quality meeting for you. And I thought it would be probably me asking questions to get to know more about these
Yeah,
animations.
absolutely. Ask away, man. I was just curious, more so curious about your business and what you're trying to build and what direction you want to take your career.
My first question is that what do you suggest if someone is just beginning the way I got into AI automation? So what do you recommend? Like where should one begin?
100%. That's a very good question. So first things first, my biggest recommendation with anyone learning AI before jumping into building chatbots, building automation, figuring out what these tools are, is going to be like basic fundamentals of how AI works. Inside of the AI Academy, this is going to be actually the beginner AI crash course. What a lot of people I'm seeing they're doing is they're overlooking and skipping that step. What happens when you talk to a client and they don't know what AI is? How are you going to explain it to them? When someone is technical up here, let's just say you're an experienced developer, for example, you build chatbots and agents. How are you going to sell a business that not necessarily just the idea of AI, but actually like what it can do for them? So my biggest recommendation is starting off with the AI beginner crash course and actually learning the foundations of essentially what AI is. The first video we can cover, I'll go over really quick, is like, what is artificial intelligence? This one you probably already know, but the biggest thing is how are you going to convey that to the person that you're trying to approach, right? If I'm a developer, like I'm in your position and I specialize in building agents and chatbots for a specific niche, there's two things that I have to fundamentally understand. The first part is industry language, right? So let's just say I want to serve, my niche is tattoo artists. I manage tattoo shops. I have a portfolio of companies. That's my bread and butter. That's how I make most of my money. And I'm just delving into AI in SaaS and software. My niche has no idea about AI chatbots, AI automations, tools, workflow. Like that's our realm, right? We go on YouTube. There's a bunch of influencers out there, a lot of creators that are teaching the technical step by step. Here's how to build this and this. But my clientele, my market, they don't understand anything. So I have to understand the lingo in that market. Now, I think what's important is like when you combine the two, when you combine fundamentally understanding like the language in like the market that you're trying to serve. This is why in my how to build an AI business YouTube video, which is about an hour and a half training, that's why I said figuring out the niche that you want to go after. It still applies to you as well too. Because if you're going to want to work for a company or like you want to freelance, for example, you still have to niche down and become, it's a term called vertically integrated, right? The jack of all trades is a master at none. I'm sure you've heard of that. The reason why I'm able to charge a lot for my services is because I specialize in building AI solutions for the tattoo industry. A lot of the nuances in the tattoo industry can apply AI. Like I get excited when I see industries.
Sorry to cut you. Like right now, I am at a stage where I have to look at every niche, like which one suits me better. So I
100%.
go into every niche. Yeah.
100%. I would definitely say like when you are testing different niches, stick to one that you're passionate about, but also stick to one that AI literally just is like a no-brainer in that realm. For example, I wouldn't go towards local grocery stores or even like right now, I wouldn't even go for like NPOs, nonprofit organizations. Why? Is because they probably don't have money to pay me. Two, AI doesn't really make sense in their business. And three, like I'm not passionate about it. Like one thing that I'm passionate about, and I'm sure you have your passions as well too. For me, I love snowboarding. I just don't see any connections, with AI, like helping snowboarding instructor, like it doesn't make sense. But the niche that I stuck with is like right now I'm vertically integrated is tattoo studios. I'm building for example, if you zoom out, let's zoom out of this. Like for me, like I had a realization the past couple of weeks where I was so focused on scaling an AI agency. I created a YouTube video and this is called my $100 million plan with AI. I want to like the way that I want to disrupt this industry is I want to be able to own businesses. That's like the long-term goal. And like I want to work in a vertical where it has a lot of potential to innovate using AI to scale the company so that I can essentially exit on the value that I bring to that company with the tools that are accessible today. So that was my realization. So when you are starting in your niche, when you're starting to test different niches, I would 100% ask yourself, do they have money to invest? Is it a niche that it makes sense for the business to adopt AI? So with AI chatbots and agents, what you're doing is you're automating communication. So think about it in that perspective. What type of business or what type of niche should automate communication? There's a lot of different niches to go about that. And I'm going to show you my thought process behind it. For example, I'm going to give you e-commerce, right? A lot of these e-commerce stores, oftentimes they're going to outsource support to the Philippines, call centers, etc. A lot of them even don't have any sort of support. This is where this technology, you can literally come in and build it for them. The coolest part about it is they don't have to manage the people dealing with the customer. When customers email the support email, typically a human has to be there to send out, oh yeah, here's your order ID and stuff like that. That in and of itself, you have to look at it in the perspective of like this company needs it and they're either spending too much money on that department or they're not spending any money at all. So there's two different avenues that you can take, right? You can help the e-commerce stores that are already scaled and that can afford cost reduction, right? Because think about it, if they pay $8,000 a month for an entire customer support team with 4, 8, 10 people like that, which is actually pretty normal. What happens when you come in, you can charge them $1,000 a month, which you're saving them 8x, right? And then you're automating essentially what they're already getting and they don't actually have to manage that customer support team. So when you're approaching businesses, always, especially with the vertical that you're trying to go for, is you're automating communication. That's essentially what it is. You're streamlining all of the inefficiencies in that business. Like one of the coolest automations that I built was between so you have B2C, so business to customer. Most AI chatbots and agents, I would say out there, are configured to the customer. So it's front outwards facing, right? So for example, you're building a chatbot for a dentist. The customers are going to be interacting with that chatbot or agent. That's B2C. B2B is business to business. This is different types of chatbots and agents, right? So it's a business communicating to another business. Now, one that isn't talked about on YouTube is
That's I think B2E.
exactly. And this is where I think a lot of companies should start. The B2C can be risky for a company. If I try to automate my sales team, for example, right now, currently, it's not going to be good. It's honestly probably going to hallucinate a little bit. It's probably going to misquote, and it's probably going to cause more issues than what I'm currently having right now. So B2E is, for example, it's like you have a team of 100 people. Those 100 people need support. That's called HR, right? So that information that essentially trained the HR branch, they follow guidelines, which is typically like a standard operating procedure, employee handbook. They probably follow strict protocol, right? Those guidelines, I'm going to give you 2 points here. If you think about it, you have somewhat of like a coding mentality. Like you think of logic, right? That's a lot of information to digest. That's even more information to go back and forth between every single one of those 100 people in a company. This is why the HR department was created. Now, is your goal to replace them? Probably not. That should never be the goal with AI. This is exactly what I'm teaching in the AI Academy. It should never be the goal to replace humans because that's too high risk for the business. And also too high risk for the AI agency, the AI freelancer, building an automation, et cetera. What it should do, it should make the existing processes better, faster, and cheaper. Those 3 things. And if it doesn't do that, and it's just aimed to replace an entire department, too risky for the business, too risky for the person actually delivering the AI fulfillment services. Very, very risky. So B2E chatbot, I would train all of the employees, and you could literally build an internal chatbot. And the coolest thing about B2E is it doesn't have to be pretty. Like you can deploy it on WhatsApp, you can deploy it on Slack. It doesn't have to be pretty. You're not designing a website. In fact, this actually takes significantly less time designing a website because all you would have to do is get access to the employee handbook, the standard operating procedure and stuff like that, and then train a chatbot. You're using VoiceFlow. I like Chatbot Kit. You can also train it. All these softwares are very similar, right? But fundamentally, it just needs that information, right? It needs that database. It needs the prompt, right? And when you're configuring the prompt, one of the best ways to come up with that prompt, by the way, is by asking that department how they would usually train an employee, by the way. Like that prompt is, you are a HR recruiter, you are an IT person, you are a operations manager, and then go about how they'd use it. In fact, I would actually use a lot of the information within that information database in that prompt, right? So you have that knowledge database, you have the prompt, and then you have the deployment. Those 3 are going to be when you build these chatbots, right? So again, I always look at it in terms of like, how can you make the communication cadence a lot like better, faster, and cheaper, right? So yeah, that's just like one use case. There's so many different use cases. You can train, like literally you can take an entire software. If your niche is software companies, right? I help software companies automate communication. You can literally use their help docs, which is really cool because help docs on the internet, dynamic, meaning it changes, right? URLs update. One of the coolest things about AI and the technology that we have today is if you train a chatbot or an agent on a URL, that knowledge base is dynamic. So that means you don't have to change it. So you'd have to train the team. Okay, if you want the chat, if you want to, technically, it's like one of the magic about that is you'd essentially have to. You don't have to change anything. It's if you want to update anything on the help docs, then the chatbot will be automatically updated because it pulls the data from the URL as its main knowledge base. Right? If you wanted to configure and change the prompt, which you should have access to because that's why they're paying you month to month, that's exactly why that's a value then and there for like your services. This is why that business doesn't go onto VoiceFlow. That business doesn't go to Chatbot Kit. That business doesn't go onto GoHighLevel or another chatbot builder. It's because you manage the prompt. that prompt should be licensed by you as the individual and maintained by you over time. So yeah, I mean, that's like my spiel on building and starting, but like you can't skip to the technical stuff before you go through the fundamental stuff. So hopefully that answers your questions as to like where you should start. And when you're explaining this, when I'm explaining this to people, you want to gauge what their understanding of AI is, right? There's it's a continuum, right? It's like a scale. It's like 0 is like they've never heard of it in their life. They don't even know what ChatGPT is. Like they're so far, they live far away from a computer. They don't know like what anything in this realm is. So like 0, when they're at the 0, you have to explain it to them in terms that they understand. And I like using analogies. Now, if your niche is more sophisticated, software companies are going to be a little bit more sophisticated because their product is on software. They're going to know and understand a little bit more. And that's when you have to adjust your language, if that makes sense, right? That's honestly the sauce right over there. But yeah, dude, do you have any other questions because you said you had a list of questions. I'll help you out. I'm gonna give you free sauce.
And so what would be your strategy to outreach potential customers? Like I was recently talking to a YouTuber and he said that this cold emails don't work. So he was of the view that we should publish content on YouTube. And that's how it's going to work best for these AI automation builders.
He said emails don't work.
Yeah, 'cause he said cold emails don't work that much. So he was of the view that YouTube is a good platform to publish content on it.
It really depends on your niche. Cold emails won't work if I was gonna want to work.
Like you just said that people don't know that much about AI, right?
Yeah.
So if you just, for example, if you email to a list of 100 people, and there is, I think, 1% possibility that someone may know about AI chatbots. But if you publish content on YouTube, so anyone who comes to YouTube and search for making a chatbot for their company, so there is a chance that they may get to you. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, that makes sense. I would definitely say you want to be on the platform where your clients hang out the most. I wouldn't necessarily say the platform you decide to do outreach on, they all work, but it really depends on your deliverability on it. For example, like there are 6 off the top of my head in terms of cold outreach, right? There is cold calling, cold emailing, video audits, LinkedIn outreach, Instagram DMs, and Facebook groups. So you're talking about building a YouTube channel. I think my biggest recommendation is build the YouTube channel. Document exactly what you're building, build a personal brand, stuff like that. That's really good advice. And honestly, I would start to test out different. The thing is that you want to pick one that best suits your personality and niche. If you don't like doing cold emails and it's almost painful to a certain extent to send out a cold email to a business, don't do it. But if you're more of a personal guy and you want to develop deeper connections and relationships with your potential clients and you have a little bit more time to spend, video audits might work really well. And that's technically cold email, the Loom video audit strategy, like a Trojan horse strategy. And this is actually one of my favorite ways to get the first couple of clients. And somebody actually booked a call with me because they upfront free work. They sent like a Loom video audit of my school community. And then they're like, hey, I made a Google document for recommended adjustments. And I got that person to hop on a call with me. Even with cold email, you put in the effort and it actually shows you put in the effort to get that person on a call and you're not expecting anything return. Of course, you're going to have a high conversion rate. But if you're just sending out cookie cutter email messages that YouTubers write and what she told you, it probably won't work. If you want to throw spaghetti on the wall, one might stick, but you have to have a lot of leverage in order to actually get booked appointments, if that makes sense. I would definitely say before you decide outreach, I would 100% recommend building your offer first, right? So you already know, if you think about this chronological, you've already picked the business model. You want to stick to AI. Let's just say you picked your niche that you wanted to specialize in. You pick your service, right? So you already know what service you want to provide. Now what you have to do is you have to focus on your offer. So what does that look like in your business right now? But you want to build AI chatbots. What would a good offer look like?
I don't have any idea. And the reason I asked about YouTube was that I already have an experience of working on YouTube. I actually had a YouTube channel that I monetized. So that was the reason I asked about using YouTube for outreaching your clients.
Absolutely. It is a really good platform. I do have to say, with YouTube, like when people search your name on Google, YouTube will usually rank first. I would say, if you're consistent with it. So what's going to happen is you're going to be
That's
building.
That's how I got to know about you. Like few days ago, I was surfing on YouTube and your video popped up, the one that was titled as my $100 AI plan. So
Yep.
that's why I believe in that. YouTube is, I think, the best platform for getting clients.
Let's talk about it. So my thought process behind that was, I thought to myself, what are people searching for? Because when you search for something, fundamentally you're looking for something. And when people are looking for something and you're able to actually provide some sort of insights or value, right? YouTube is actually, it could be a very great, I call it inbound acquisition system. So it's like people coming in, watching the content. Like I have like about 100 views, which isn't really that much. One of my videos is 900, but that's 800 eyeballs. That's 1,600 eyes, individual eyeballs that are looking at what I have to offer. And like that is huge. So I think with YouTube, you have to really think about what your strategy is when you create the content. Do you like, for me personally, I'm going to give you my content strategy. Okay. Create the content that I would have needed 2 to 3 years ago. Create the content that I'm learning now, and create the content to remind myself where I'm going. So essentially, it's teach the past you, advance the current you, and fulfill the future you. That's it. That's my content strategy. Transparently. So,
And what's your marketing strategy for Ideaify?
yeah, so right now I don't do any cold outreach currently. It's mainly for my YouTube, and people in my school, they learn, like my school basically is to incubate people to learn about AI, how to make it productive in their business, and also get the tools that they need. Right. That's like essentially what the school community is. So if you have some sort of YouTube channel, let's just say you're getting views on the platform, then I would highly recommend maybe even building a school community to build a little bit more of a nurture sequence, if that makes sense, so that people can watch a little bit more. If they like your content, give them more content. If they have more questions, answer their questions. If it's pretty simple. So my strategy with my school community is give, and then a percentage of them is going to convert for Ideaify. So literally my entire business model is, because I'm actually using school in a way where I'm actually collecting feedback for my software. So it's like when people are in my school community and they're using these different tools and different softwares and learning about AI, and then they click into Ideaify, they create an account, you know what I mean? Like they start a free trial. A high percentage, like about 30% of them convert in from the free trial, which is pretty good, right? So what I do is I incentivize them to actually start a free trial, learn about AI, and at the same time, I want to make it sticky to the point where it's, let's just say, because it's still really, really early, it's, let's just say they had feedback on, I want like a tool like this, or this tool is great, but I think it can be better like this. They're essentially paying me or paying Ideaify to give feedback so I can make iterations and adjustments to my software, if that makes sense. Usually companies have to do the reverse. Does that make sense? So it's like usually companies have to pay surveyors, to people to test the platform, try to break it, etc. I'm trying to keep this operation lean. It's only 2 people that built Ideaify. It's like me and a developer, and we can talk about software, etc. I personally think it's the best business model long term in the next 10 years, because
How many users do you have right now to Ideaify?
close to 200. I think it's like 189, but so far
And
it's like, huh?
how is the feedback?
Really good, actually, like really good. We have like our user base currently right now are business, like they're content creators and business owners. So think about the like my niche is, if you're a business owner and you're anywhere, you're making between 0 to 10K, and you want to create content to essentially make more money in your business, but you don't have the time, energy, and resources to do this, is exactly what Ideaify is for. Now we're starting to delve into the market of AI workflows and automations. Why? Is because the people that are using it.
I actually have looked into Ideaify, and I think it's more into AI-driven solutions for content creation, right?
Exactly. Yep. It's literally like the reason why I built that specifically was so that people can experience AI in a more better than ChatGPT, for example. The fundamental challenge Ideaify is solving is prompt engineering. A business owner that runs a restaurant, for example, isn't going to know how to prompt engineer. So we provide the prompts in order for them to get the same, if not a better output. That's essentially what we're doing. The past 4 months, however, I've been getting feedback from the users in Ideaify, and they're like, hey, there's this really cool, I want to build AI automations. And I'm like, that'd be really cool. So I did a competitor analysis and I saw, for example, our leading competitors like Jasper. We also have a competitor named Sintra. And what Sintra is doing is a bunch of these AI automations, which are like Make. Have you ever heard of Make.com?
Yeah, yeah.
So these are blue
Yeah.
AI automation blueprints. And my goal was to essentially productize that through our AI solution. So like this, again, it's like that shift was specifically from the feedback that I was getting from the people in Ideaify, the users, and they're like, hey, I want to build these AI automations. But like the problem that we're solving is I don't know how to even build these AI automations. It can get incredibly complicated, like way more complicated than I thought. So essentially what we should do is provide essentially like the blueprint and then also education on what this AI automation is, how it works, and how it solves the problem so that businesses can literally, like our phrase is like, you can literally copy and paste it in your business, right? And then we're going to be coming out with a bunch of different AI automations for people for Ideaify users to essentially use for their company. So they could just download the blueprint, import it into their business, and just adopt AI that way. Wouldn't have been able to do that without feedback from our users. Like I wouldn't have gotten the idea of, oh, okay, it's going to be a content generator. It's going to be a place where people can literally shop and browse for AI automations and stuff like that. I wanted to cater towards my users in a motion called PLG. PLG essentially stands for product-led growth, and a lot of software companies are doing these PLG motions. For example, one of my favorite AI-enabled companies is Grammarly. They're a PLG company where their product is built based off of customer and user feedback, right? They actually have an upvote system, like when people vote things and the truth ranks, essentially. That system enabled on their backend so that they know what products to push out. So it's not the organization that's making those decisions on how to iterate the product. It's actually 100% the user base, which is amazing. This is exactly how I'd run any sort of business, is make it all about your customers. And this is how Jeff Bezos runs his company as well. So I thought that was really smart. And this is how I think AI enabled companies are going to move faster than any other business, because those companies that, let's just say big enterprises that make decisions, and let's just say 5% of the company, like the top hierarchical area of the company, are going to be making decisions for the product. They're going to be making decisions way too slow, versus the PLG companies are going to be making decisions directly and almost entirely predicated to the market. So I think that's how we move faster in the market, and how we, as I suppose we can call ourselves AI enablers, are going to make a ton of money in the next 3 to 5 years. Focusing on the users, and when I say users, it also applies to clients as well too. Innovating and moving faster than those companies who are still trying to figure out what ChatGPT is. We move fast at my company. It's just like people are like trying to figure out November 2022. They're like ChatGPT this, ChatGPT that. AI models are getting really good. However, like our focus was to solve the biggest problem, which is prompt engineering, right? Really difficult to get a good output. So we just focused on building a product around that.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that what was the main motivation behind creating Ideaify, and how do you envision its future?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I created Ideaify with my co-partner because we saw the opportunity
It's just
in
you
AI.
two running there. It was
Yeah,
just you two.
literally just us two. And Ideaify is a no-code SaaS. It's literally built like, it's not like a traditional software companies have to get a lot of money. They have to raise a lot of money to deploy to developers and develop code. It's like we developed our MVP in a month in using no code software. It's similar how you're building chatbots. It's no code. It's like VoiceFlow is no code. For example, like Shopify is technically no code if you're wanting to build an e-commerce website, originally in the past, you'd have to code an e-commerce website and deal with the logistics, right? Make.com is no code for building automations. It's like the no code wave is here. It has already arrived, and that's exactly how we approached it. So essentially, to answer your question, to start off, like the biggest problem that I was facing and my co-partner was facing is like creating content was hard. You did nail it on the head. It was made specifically for content creators by content creators, and we wanted to create a platform that makes it easier, right? So our mantra was to create better content faster. That was our goal. So we created like a super, like it looked so much different in the past, but it was a very simple content generator in the past that had all of these tools. And like these tools essentially helped businesses create more blog posts, create more short form video scripts, create video like an SEO analysis and stuff like that. And when we started to put all the tools inside of Ideaify, originally, our approach was, okay, we're going to go test different markets and then eliminate and / iterate some of the tools that they don't need. So it was actually elimination for the next, couple of months after that. So a lot of tools we had to like put in the backlog. Now, like we transition more so with, okay, we have our toolkit of the tools that people are currently using every single day. These are sticky. To now, the goal is I want to productize AI automations and workflows using make.com in the AI solutions category. To answer the second question, what I want to do with Ideaify, honestly, like this is my very first software company. I probably want to keep it. If there is an exit multiple where I see it just, you know what, like I don't need it anymore and someone else wants to buy it and I like the price, I honestly wouldn't be open. I would be open to selling it perhaps to a competitor or just to an incubator or a VC that wants to purchase it. But like my goal with AI is to make it as accessible as possible to pretty much everyone. I see like everyone, they either misunderstand it, they don't know how to use it, they've never used it in the past. This is why the next course in my school community after the beginner AI crash course is AI tools and softwares. That is the easiest way to delve into AI. It goes chronologically, right? It's you watch a couple of YouTube videos and you download ChatGPT, you use it and you're like, oh, this is really cool. What else can it do? And this is where most people get stuck. Where most people get stuck is how can I make it actually productive in my business? And this is usually where the biggest technological gap is in the market currently. So the next phase after that, and the easiest way to adopt AI is exactly what we did, but a lot of people don't realize it, is we start testing different tools. And I have a toolbox of all these AI tools that I love using and what a lot of people are using as well too. And it familiarizes you with how these different AI tools work, like their different use cases, different models and stuff like that, right? And there's essentially an AI tool for about everything now. And there's some really cool tools out there. And then after you familiarize yourselves with tools and softwares, for example, like my go-to for video editing, I moved off of Final Cut Pro. I use Descript. It's an AI video editor. Edits 10 times faster than Final Cut Pro. Like it's crazy. It transcribes the audio of an entire video and you edit the video based off of the text. And also, since you're able to edit the text, there's an AI tool in there. It's called the Underlord, that you're able to remove all the ums, the uhs, the weird pauses. You're able to timestamp and literally within a couple of seconds. And you can edit like a majority of the video using AI and you can post it directly on there. So this is why I think AI tools is really cool, right? So you become familiar with the AI tools. And then after that, I think the journey is like, this is my personal journey. This is how I structure the course. It's you start to learn how to build AI chatbots and agents. You're like, okay, I tried all these AI tools. They're all really cool. And I want to, the easiest I think after that is building AI chatbots and agents because it requires the least amount of input. And that's when you learn how to like different applications, like B2C applications, B2B applications, B2E applications. And then after you learn how to automate communication, you're like, wow, like this technology could do a lot more. That's when after that you transition to AI workflows and automations where you're actually like focusing on not necessarily just communication, but you're focusing on processes, you're focusing on operations, you're focusing on those things. And I think when to a certain point where like you level up in that category, then after that, I think it's you can transition to an AI agency or an enabler. Why? It's because, well, if you're looking to enable AI in a business, whether you want to enable it in a company that you work for, or you want to build an AI business like an AI agency, now you have pretty much everything that you need since you've taken the fundamental course. You've used hundreds of different AI tools and you know exactly what to build. And you know how to build chatbots and agents. You know how to build AI workflows and AI automations. You see where outdated, archaic, when I say archaic, it's like inefficient processes in a business, and you know how to automate it and you've done it, right? And then a lot of people could stop there and make a ton of money with an AI agency, or they can enable AI in companies, right? There's a lot of different business models under that umbrella. You can be a consultant, you can be a no-code freelance AI developer, you can be an AI agency. There's so many different business models under there. And I think the last phase, and this is the phase that I'm currently in, it's being an AI software founder. How do you go from a tool to a software company, right?
I think that people like you who have adopted AI early, like people who have such softwares like Ideaify, so they are definitely going to benefit from this. The way in the early 2000 when people they came into the dot-com bubble, so it's also going to work the same way it benefited people that time. So I think it will be good for you.
100%. And I think that should be the goal for you as well too. You should at least know those milestones. Put yourself in a position where you see opportunity as is. And we're so early, dude. Bro, we're so early. We haven't even started. The things that I know about OpenAI and ChatGPT and a lot of these AI companies that are actually deploying models like for these consumer AIs, they've come out with some pretty extraordinary things that isn't even accessible to consumers yet, I will say. You know what I mean? We're so incredibly early. There's a lot of development in this space. And my biggest recommendation, man, is to focus on the problems that are the biggest and the most meaningful for you to solve. Yeah, that's my approach to the market. It's like when I like, my goal with what I'm building is I want to help other people go through those milestones, go through those phases, and literally bring them to the point where I'm at, where like they have built an incredibly large and very cool software company. And I honestly just would love to just and literally just scale it and go through actually what it means to actually build a software company, going through those like different milestones and stuff like that. Because I think that personally is like my end goal. I love software. I think that's the business behind software. Not only for it has like bigger exit multiples, but it's just like a much more operationally efficient compared to running an agency. I think the transition from running an agency to running a software makes a lot of sense if you have a lot of data points, if you run an agency. So if you're running an agency and you're dealing with 50 to 100 clients, you're probably going to see patterns on what problems you're facing with your clients, and they pay you so you can essentially solve those problems, right? Keep in mind, the market is huge. Like, the market is huge. And then you want to go to a software and charge a fraction of that price. And also your operational cost is a fraction as well too, but you're able to serve a larger market. One of my favorite types of business models is SaaS, software as a service, where we have users in Ideaify. Think about this in a sense. We have users, and then our enterprise package, and a lot of software companies do this, SaaS companies, they have done for you services, meaning they charge high ticket. So the coolest part about it is when you're advertising, I'm not doing paid ads yet right now because we literally can't, we can't even take one more client right now, honestly. But when you are marketing, typically in advertising, if I had an agency, my CPA, cost per acquisition, would be high if my prices are higher in an agency, right? If I'm running a software company, and let's just say my product is like $49, my CPA is going to be significantly lower than trying to acquire a customer at an agency level. The coolest part about combining both of them, and it's a really cool ecosystem, the CPA of trying to get enterprise clients in our realm is actually going to be reduced significantly because we have that low ticket software enterprise thing. So it's, if we get someone like one user, let's just say that one user works at a company of 25 employees, one of them, let's keep in mind LTV, or let's just say they're worth to us $49 per month. What happens when we convert that $49 per month person? This is the coolest part about SaaS, to an enterprise client for $3. So you literally jump from $49 to $3,000 per month. This is the coolest part about running it, is because you're able to ascend a user to a high ticket paying client. which is like so cool in my eyes. It's like that one person has 50 to 100 employees that work for the company. What happens when that one person is able to onboard 50 to 100 more users because they work at a larger company, which is going to be significantly more than running our enterprise offer, which is custom done for you AI solutions, which essentially is like our enterprise offer. We have an enterprise offer at Ideaify that we're running that I actually,
think it's 3,000.
I had to increase prices or close applications. I decided to close applications currently because I don't even have the capacity to have any more, because like people are coming to us. Why? It's because we've built AI tools, we built AI chatbots, we built AI workflows and automations. You want to come to the best, you can build the best. That should be your mentality within any vertical that you work in. But it's a productized service. Was essentially, it's like when we say like you unlimited, it truly is unlimited. They have unlimited requests essentially. That's our enterprise offer for a fixed cost. Doesn't matter if it's one person, an entire company, fixed cost. You're able to send unlimited requests. And we essentially have a queue system where that request has priority depending on the time you submit it. And we're able to build the AI solution and deliver it to you in 24 hours, depending on the complexity, of course. If it's a super complicated AI automation that we need more, it can take a little bit more time. But most of these are going to be chatbots, or most of these are going to be AI tools, or they're just going to want prompts, right? So that's how I set up Ideaify, and that's how the structure, like everything that we built came with intent. And really the intent behind that was not to make money from the agency or the enterprise. Is actually like my main focus was primarily just like users in Ideaify. So like our user base are just like, they're using all of our tools and it's solving a lot of problems. And if I were to start today, I would focus on starting with one niche, one service, and focusing on one problem that's bigger than myself. But yeah, so it's my other video, how to build a profitable AI business. It's my niche, hairdressers and barbers. My AI service would be, I build AI chatbot booking assistance. Benefits. Okay, reduce time spent in sales, increase quality of consultations, and increase customer satisfaction. Pricing. I'm going to charge $1,500 USD one time, and then $500 per month for maintenance and improvement. And then my offer, like my scarcity, because like people buy on emotion and justify with logic and make a decision based off of scarcity. I'm telling people I'm only accepting 3 clients a month, or I'm closing my applications tomorrow. So it's like, I just need a yes or no. If you're able to put down a $1,500 deposit and we can build this for $500 a month, I accept Klarna. It's, if you want to break this down, Klarna is like financing here in the US, or a firm. It's like, if you get accepted, we can do this, we can build this tomorrow, and it can be done by tomorrow, and your business change.
Do you have any experience of building chatbots for hairdressers? Like, have you made such a chatbot?
Hairdressers, no, but tattoo shops, yes. That one specifically would be an example of a B2C chatbot. The one that I have enabled, because like in my experience, since I managed tattoo shops even before this, I have a sales team currently growing, and we have, like, my idea was like, if you want to build AI chatbots or assistants with any sort of sales team, you can automate it entirely, which might work in some instances. I'm not a big proponent of it. If you're going to automate it entirely, and if it's low risk, the business doesn't necessarily care, but they can't afford to have humans in there, it makes sense. But I think 80% of the time, what I would suggest is to enable something called suggestive AI responses, so that you're focusing on increasing the quality of the conversations so that you could increase their conversions. I'm going to put out a case study video on one of my tattoo shops. If you look into the sales revenue, we more than tripled the revenue in the business just because I focused on conversions. The lead flow came the same. We spent no more money, zero money. And keep in mind, this is a seasonal business where it starts to decline now. We 3x them simply because I focus on these 3 things in my sales team by enabling AI. I'll tell you the technicality of it later, but fundamentally I increased the response rate. So we have inbound leads coming, right? Imagine leads piling up in an inbox or conversations. If I focus on increasing the response, number 1, that's the most priority. Number 2 is increasing the quality of the conversations, right? So with AI suggestive messages. So in fact, my sales team, I'm going to share, like, I'm so like, I love this so much. Okay. So can I share my screen with you? So we go into conversations. You want to find one that has, okay. So this one, So what the AI does is it reads the entire conversation. So this one was on September 28th. So it scans the entire conversation, and instead of automating the response directly to the customer, if I'm a booking manager or if I'm a salesperson, look what happens when I click this. I hit type message, AI bot is thinking. And then it has 3 pre-draft responses so that my sales team doesn't have to think of a message to type or text by themselves. One over here, another one over here, another one over here. I trained the AI to be a badass booking manager or salesperson that has a high close rate, right? It's able to scan the entire conversation. And if I click into this and then hit send right over here, it's able to do that. Right. So I'm obviously not going to do that because I don't want to run the risk of double sending, but you get to see it. So inside of the software called GoHighLevel, it has options or 3 for AI. So we have suggestive, which helps within the chat window, and then autopilot, sending the messages automatically. This applies to pretty much every department, but in regards to my sales team, I have enabled this and deployed this through SMS, the chat widget, and also live chat. As you can see right over here, it's fundamentally easier than voice flow, but this chatbot was trained on a Google Doc right over here. This is the URL, which means it's a dynamic knowledge base so that I don't have to update the prompt. I just have to update this Google Doc. And then I answer FAQ questions right over here because the leads coming into the business have very similar patterns of questions. It's like, how do I book an appointment? And you answer that Q&A. So this is you training the AI model. And then, right, I deploy it. So I literally deployed it through suggestive responses. And then my sales team basically goes through all of this. They have faster response rate, higher quality conversations. Like the goal isn't to replace the people in my sales team. The goal is to increase their outputs or make it a lot better. As we can see, like right over here, like we do numbers. The sales team and this is why an AI could technically do this, but I like people, I like humans. I like to give them things to do. All they do is book the appointment on a calendar and send the invoice. When we get paid, we book the appointment on the calendar.
Yeah, and what's the customer's response to talking to these AI chatbots? Like,
so they're actually not talking to the AI chatbot. So this is an AI-enabled sales team, essentially. I'm going to walk you through a sales consultation right over here. I'm going to try to find one that's over $1,000. So this one's like a $2,000 deposit. So we do 50% deposit. So this is a $4,000 tattoo. So let's look into this consultation right over here. I would say 80% of this is AI. 20% of it is human. So it's like customer responded to here. My sales member used AI to respond within, a couple minutes. We received the information. Again, it's just like my sales team collects information and quotes a tattoo. It's really not that rocket science. And then basically they walk them through all the way down, high quality conversations. It's conversational. We collect the information that they need. My booking manager or my salesperson quotes, and then they send the invoice and then book them on the calendars. As you can see over here, this was a $4,000 technically revenue sale. We collected a $2,000 deposit, and we do that every single day. So this is my new booking manager or my salesperson right over here, and they're using AI, which is the suggestive responses right over here. They're using this when they're actually consulting, and they're getting better responses. Right over here, this guy right over here, AI bot is thinking. This small adjustment helps, like right over here, as you can see, it generated 3 responses, and it's my sales team's, it's their decision at the end of the day, not the AI. I didn't automate this entirely, but like they do this and then they send the message. It's so simple. It is so simple. That little adjustment that I made with my sales team is what increased the revenue of the company significantly. Like, I'm not even joking. It was compared to last year, 300%. And nothing has changed in the market. We're not spending any more money on ads. It's literally just conversion rate optimization, fundamentally. And that key is the AI and honestly just culture building as well too. It's like familiarizing an existing team with what this AI is. It's me explaining it to them. It's, hey, this is a tool, not a crutch. This is your best friend. He's going to help you out with your conversations. In fact, when I say he, it's obviously like the AI. He is going to actually read through the entire sales conversation and actually help give you better recommendations as what you can send out. He's going to help you better your sales consultations. He is not here to replace you. I got that question because he is not here to replace you. Why? Because if he does replace you, and then when somebody calls and they want to speak to you and you're not here, it makes it weird. We work together. When an AI and a human works together, it's the best case scenario. But when you replace a human and you just have the AI, a lot of things can go wrong, in my personal view. That is exactly like my approach. I've shown you exactly like what it looks like. A lot of these gurus are just like hypothesis and you could do this. Like I literally showed you, this is exactly what I did. And that software is called GoHighLevel. And it's, I believe they have two plans, $99 a month. And then the other one, I have the agency account. It's $297. My clients pay for it. And like you can build unlimited sub accounts. And it's called,
what's its name? GoHighLevel?
Yeah. So why I like GoHighLevel so much is because they have deployment options on SMS. GoHighLevel syncs with the software called Twilio, and Twilio is like SMS. On my phone, I'm going to be I could technically turn on automate and not have suggestive responses, and it'll 100% be automated. But I'm going to be texting them through SMS, which is like that. It'll be like a green number, but it's very powerful. I like the high level because the deployment options are insane. It has everything that you need literally to run an agency. But that is my spiel on building AI chatbots. And this is the beauty of being in this industry and being in this realm. I saw the problem and I'm like, okay, here's a tool. Here's the best way to go about it. I implemented it. It took me like a day. And I realized that my sales team loves it. They work better and it's just generating the company a lot more revenue. So it's just like, all right, cool. What else? I'm at the point where I'm like, what else can I build? How many other AI solutions can I build for this company? There's so much I can do. And that's the most exciting part about it, bro. When I'm able to see different problems. For example, like I work with tattoos. It's like when a customer comes in and they're trying to explain what they want, they might have a couple of screenshots of photos and stuff like that. What's revolutionary is I'm introducing text to image for my artists. So like a design like this, it's like they can create hundreds of designs and have the client choose and pick which one, use that, and then even iterate it a little bit more using Canva or using Midjourney, right? It's fucking awesome, dude. Pick a niche that excites you, that you're able to build AI solutions and be excited about. That shit excites me. And this is exactly what I talk about on my YouTube channel. You don't want to look at it in the sense of, I need to make money with this technology. I want to make money with AI. I don't really care about the technology. I'm not fascinated with it. I'm just trying to make money as fast as that mentality behind it. You want to find your niche that gets you excited about building these really cool solutions. And as a result, it's like when you're able to build these really cool solutions for the business, and it works, you can literally productize that if you want to and sell it to other businesses, either as a service or as a software. It's like the coolest shit ever. You couldn't do this 2 years ago, 5 years ago with an agency. Dude, yeah. I almost forgot what the world was like before ChatGPT. I've been using AI every single day. People would literally have to open up a blank Word document and actually think and use their brain for ideas. It moves so fast the past couple of years. It's just like crazy to me. But the biggest thing about enabling AI in businesses, and the question that you have to ask yourself, this is why the foundations and my very first course in my school is called the Beginner AI Crash Course, is how can you make it profitable and productive for a business? I think there's too many people that are jumping into really far advanced concepts. They're trying to build the perfect automation or the perfect software, the perfect chatbot for the business. Fundamentally, you can't skip the principles. You can't skip the lessons of building a software company or an agency or a business in general. You have to learn those things before you actually get to PMF, product market fit. You have to get to those things when you start making your first money online or getting a transaction that comes either through a client or a user. You can't skip those things. I think most people will fail building an AI business because they're going to overlook the fundamentals. And I'm going to tell you right now, the people that are in the school community, most of them, they overlook the beginner AI crash course because they think they know what AI is. But when they get in a sales call, trying to explain and sell it to their client, they flop because, again, they're trying to sell very technical and advanced terms. Whereas like for me, I'm able to sell it because I know, and I've actually built these things, and I know how to deliver that to them in a way where they understand it. So know your fundamentals. I told myself this month I'm going to be recording a lot more tutorial videos on AI tools Dude, you can make money on every single milestone, right? Like you can, like, there's so many different ways to monetize, but like it's AI tools and software as your next your milestone. When you start to learn and understand how these tool works, who's to say that you can't build an affiliate business using, let's just say like you're a big fan of a couple of AI tools, for example, like VoiceFlow. Like you really, and I've seen a lot of creators. I love like seeing small entrepreneur, solopreneur content creators do this. Is they find 1, 2, or 3 softwares that they can't work without. They make a lot of content around it. And then they're just affiliates, dude. Like they have an affiliate business on top of their agency or on top of their services. And it's just so cool, bro. And a lot of the YouTubers do this. Sebastian Georgi does it. Jordan Welch. There's a lot of creators that do that. Jordan did it successfully with Shopify. Sebastian as well too, because they have a really good affiliate program. And then there's just like a lot you can do. That's exactly what I'm doing with the AI Academy. My goal is to have by the end of this year to have 50 recommended AI tools and also trainings. And then every single one of them is going to have some sort of discount or incentive. And that's going to be an affiliate so people can learn and demo these tools before signing up. And so when you learn your fundamentals, you become familiar with how different tools work and how different softwares work, and then how to build those chatbots. Not only how to build those chatbots, but I think the why is more important than the how. People are searching for the hows, but they don't know the whys first. It's like, why are you building a chatbot in the first place? I want to make money. You should never think of that. That should never be your very first approach. Is I want to make money building a chatbot for dentists. That's not going to be a scalable business in the next 5 to 10 years because most likely you're probably going to be doing something else. So you want to focus on the problems that are the most meaningful to you and something that just makes sense for the business. And I would definitely say finding an AI solution in a vertical where you're able to succeed early in, you're going to kill it. And you're just so incredibly early. Be one of the first. I think the more niche you are and the earlier you are to the party, and I would even recommend the earlier you are to capitalize on, I see YouTube as like real estate, because a lot of the creators that are big now were just the first in their era. Iman was the first agency. Jordan Welch and all these other creators were first in drop shipping. You have to be the first in whatever it is that you're building, right? And then now people are starting to figure out like, oh man, you sell courses. You're successful because you sell courses. No, like he's sold courses like as his first business. Like he created so many courses. I've worked with him. I've helped launch his NFT project at the Gents Croquet Club. This guy's just been doing a lot of these pivotal moves all along the way. And this is exactly what people should be doing, right? His business, you're familiar with Iman, right? So like he sold courses, had an agency. He had 2 different types of businesses, but he was telling people to build an agency, although he was making most of his money selling courses transparently. I knew that. Everyone knew that. And then from there, he started really like this education company or like the info product business started to take off significantly more than his agency. And you wouldn't close an agency that's making $250,000 a month on repeat. So like he had to close down his agency because it just wasn't performing that well. So he closed that down, focused on info product. And now he's just like focusing that. He's like on software. Like at the end of the day, all these creators are like, they figured out software is going to be the biggest, highest leverage thing. But like he's been creating content, documenting everything. I think every single time he just chose a good vehicle at the time of his life, if that makes sense. It's like when you don't have a lot of cash or resources, but you have knowledge that isn't accessible on the internet, create a course, sell the course, use that to essentially build like a software or whatever it is that you want to build. But not to say every single business model, I wouldn't necessarily say there are bad business models, but in the realm of AI. But yeah, the question that I would ask myself if I were you is like, what problems do I want to go after? If you do what everybody is currently doing, which is they're going on YouTube and searching how to make money with AI, those creators are not going to tell you shit. Like, you have to think the sense of put on your problem solving hat. You're a true entrepreneur. Like I'm going to tell you right now, sees opportunity, looks at the problem, like the bigger problem, and they reverse engineer how to solve that problem. And they're typically really resilient as to how to solve that problem. The wannabe entrepreneurs see the outcome and they're like, how can I get all the things that they have? And a lot of them are not willing to give up the, what you have to do in order to achieve that. They'd rather just like the quick 10K per month. Everybody wants to do that, but they're not willing to do the work, send out 10,000 emails every single month, to do cold outreach, to actually, like, when you get a client on the call or a potential prospect, to get them on a call and then actually sell them. Do the hard shit, focus on the hard shit. I think that is going to be the biggest thing, is like when you're able to actually focus on that and focus on the actual problem. Because I heard this quote, you're paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of the problems you're able to solve. So if you solve a small problem, you're going to get paid a small amount. If you're able to solve a big problem, you're going to be sitting on a gold mine. You're going to have a lot of opportunity to stay there for a very long time and make tons and tons of money. Focus on that.
I wanted to respond to earlier when you said that you should not be looking for money, you should be looking for solutions, right? So,
Absolutely.
but I think for solutions, you need to have an experience of a business.
Sure.
Only then it's possible to find solutions. So what's your idea that people who don't have that much experience in a business, or how do they find solutions?
Let's turn the tables here. If I'm a business owner, okay, and you are trying to sell your services to me, I will pay you if you're able to solve my problems. That's the truth of it, bro. If you're able to solve my problem, let's just say, like, I'm a busy business owner and I'm dealing with all my leads. I'm like wearing all the hats, which you should probably already know all the problems that I'm going through because you talk to a lot of people like me. Then if you're able to solve my problem and it isn't an expense to my time, I'm going to pay you. Now, did I ask for your experience? I didn't. I don't care. Honestly, if you're able to actually build something that is productive in my business, hopping on the phone isn't going to be an issue if you've already front loaded the value. For example, if you're able to get me on a call with like a free audit call, right? Hey, like, I saw you're running this business. I saw you made a couple of posts on LinkedIn. And like, I know that you're building this one thing, and I could almost bet that you're experiencing this problem and this problem.
And I think it's only possible if you niche down.
100%. You need to niche down, because if you're trying to cater to everybody, you're not going to help anyone. So again, like, if I were you, I'd be like, I'm only taking 2 more clients next month. I have back-to-back meetings, but I know that this will help your business out. Can I show it to you on a call? And I speak with conviction here. And also, you should know that businesses solutions. I'm going to tell you right now, businesses will literally pay you money if you're able to eliminate the problems that they face every single day, right? The experience comes along the way, but being in this space for a while now, inexperience is what stops a lot of people from getting started, because they're afraid that they don't have any experience, and they're afraid that they're not going to be able to close. Honestly, I closed my first client that I've worked for a couple of years now, 0 experience. It's because nobody did it in the industry. Literally 0 experience, dude. Who would have ever thought that, like, I don't know if you knew this, but like, my first agency was helping tattoo artists. Essentially, like, our goal was to help them out with like their business and have them essentially focus on what they do best, which is tattoo. And like, my team handled the business side. It was my very first agency. Tell me some other person that nobody did that in the industry. So there has to be the first one. This is why it's important being first, right? 0 experience. Figured it out for a couple of years along the way. Some things didn't work. Some things did work. I doubled my efforts and focused on the things that did work. And then now it's like, I have a blueprint on what works at a tattoo shop, so that I'm able to, when I want to work with a different client in a different tattoo shop, I have the blueprint on how to scale it. And now we have the most incredible type of technology that's able to do pretty much everything. Like, I'm like, dude, if I had this technology back then, and I built actually human departments that were able to do some of these things, like bookkeeping, customer service, marketing, sales, all these things, it's like, this technology technically can replace a lot of the things that they do. Now it's my responsibility, since we have access to this technology, to figure out where can I actually apply that in the business that makes the most sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you another thing as well, too. And this is going to eliminate your limiting belief on, I'm scared to get my I think, okay, 2 things. Most people are more scared of success than they are of actually getting the success. This is what hinders a lot of people from starting. And then the other point AI is new. It just entered the chat. So how, like what experience? It's like a year old. It's like 2 years old. So it's, again, when you're on a sales call and they ask you about your business experience, which I 100% I guarantee you they're not going to ask you about. It's like, here's this new type of technology. It's called AI. Have you heard of it? Yeah, I have. Awesome, cool. I built this AI solution for your business. I really think that it's going to help your business, right? Like, this is a chatbot. I can show you how it works, but that your business, it doesn't matter. I want to show you what it does. Do you have 20 minutes of your time that will change the trajectory of your business for the next 20 years? And if that's a no, then I won't help you. I literally can't even help you. I'm going to help someone else. But if you say no to that, and like you're not willing to open up your calendar for something that is going to impact your business in the future, whether you like it or not, it's inevitable. And you're not able to give up 20 minutes of your time for me to show you how I can do it for your business. I didn't front like how experienced I am building all these things and how capable, dude, it's do that. That is the best sales pitch that you can pitch to a business, to have them adopt AI. It's so much easier than selling an agency, because if you're an agency and like you do copywriting, for example, yeah, you might have to have experience. Sure. Right. You might have to have a couple of clients. They might ask about testimonials or whatever. But since AI is so new, bro, like you don't have to have experience at all. You just have to build the thing and then demo it, maybe like a preview it to the business owner, and then have them like, dude, it is so fucking cool. If I'm starting out, dude, and I'm like starting out with chatbots and agents, I would literally build a couple of chatbots, maybe for my niche, a couple of use case chatbots, and then just run them through every single chatbot. By the end of the call, they should be like, you're telling me a human didn't do that? That's fucking great. And then it opens their mind, and then they're like, I could put this here. I could use this here. Oh my God, I could use this here. And this is when you work with them to build those solutions. And they'll pay you every single month because you're solving all of those problems. But like, that's the coolest part about building an AI business. Is, do you have to have experience? No, absolutely not. It's way too new. If you did have experience, sure, it might help a little bit, but that's not how I close my clients. I close my clients because I've already built these solutions that people use. And it took a while for me to get there. But it's when I'm selling like the enterprise and they're like, can you build this AI tool for me? It's, I don't have to build it for you. I already have it in Ideaify. You don't have to pay me $3,000 for it. You can pay $49 a month and you can use this tool. I want it to be different. Oh, okay, that makes sense. They're not going to question my experience because I've already built the thing. So fundamentally, if you already build the thing for them, you've already done 90% of the work, bro. The 10% is really just sending the invoice.
Yeah, that's the best thing about it, that once you have a blueprint of it, and then you can easily show it to clients, and like it's the same thing that you did for some other client, and you can show it to others. I also add this one other questions about Assistant API V2. Have you heard of it?
Assistant API.
Yes, Assistant API V2. I was actually listening to some YouTuber, and he was saying that aside from these low code and no code softwares, you need to look into these API Assistant V2s.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So what's your view on that?
I think it's helpful, honestly. As long as it works for the business, it's great. I looked into the help docs and it does make sense, but like, I'm going to tell you right now, businesses don't care if it's an assistant API, if it's voice flow, if it's GoHighLevel, if it's Chatbot Kit, as long as their problem is getting a lot of people, and not necessarily just like in the AI space, but in software and even running an agency, look at the technical tool. They look at what that thing is, take the tool, test different variations of the tool out. You can use the same knowledge base and the same prompt, but you want to focus on the actual, for example, if high level doesn't work and they don't have the deployment option, move to the next one. Assistance API might work. You can technically build it inside of Make if you're building a chatbot. In fact, you 100% can. I think Make is a little bit more customizable. In fact, like, have your client pay for Make. It's $10 a month if they use little operations. Some of these other chatbots are going to be a little bit higher priced because they have nicer user interfaces, to be entirely honest with you. But you can build it inside of Make and just manage the backend operations. As a client, as a customer, as a user, I wouldn't care, honestly, what you choose. I honestly would only care about the output. If the output sucks, or if the prompt sucks, or the knowledge base isn't trained, it doesn't really matter what tool you use fundamentally, it's really going to be like, is this productive in my business? Does this make money? Does it help me save money? Why do I want to? Does it even make sense? Like at the end of the day, it just comes down to that. Like when you get to a point where you talk to one of your potential clients and then they're like, oh yeah, I was wanting to do this, but it's just so technical, I don't know how to do it. That's the best type of conversation to have because it's actually a lot simpler than you think, to be entirely honest with you. I've already built it. Can we demo this in the next 20 minutes? I want to show you how it works. And if you want it, then I'll give you access to it. I do charge a setup fee and I do charge a maintenance fee, but it's super minimal. We can run with this, or you can hire somebody, you can train them. If they don't perform, you fire them, hire someone else. No, this chatbot makes sense in your business. With my setup fee, I have other variations of chatbots that we can test in your business as well. I'm just here to really help anywhere in any area that I can. But I specialize in chatbots. If you want to automate communication in this department and this department, since I already built it for this, I could do this. It's a lot more easier to sell that way. But if you're working in the space, the fundamentals, know the foundations first. And then when you have the tools, the technical stuff like that, test all of it, it won't matter to the client, nor should it matter to you. But obviously, if you're building it, build it. It's just like a hammer. You can use a hammer with a nail. You can use a screwdriver with a power drill, or you can use super glue. They're all going to do pretty much the same thing, but there's multiple different ways to cap. But yeah, when you're building AI solutions for the businesses, try not to focus, and I'm going to emphasize this a lot, try not to focus on the technobabble. Try not to focus on like the mechanics. Try not to focus on too much of like the complexity of how it can be. They don't care about it. They're paying you to fundamentally solve a problem. It's the more that you're able to simplify things, the more that you're able to help people understand what it is, the more that you're able to actually make it easier for them rather than complex. I think this is where AI adds value, not where it's able to do all these mechanics and technical things. They ask you how you build it. Yeah, like I use Assistance API. It's an open AI product. It's no code, transparently. You don't have to hide that from them. They're not going to do it themselves. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to share with you. I don't want to share like how I built this automation, or we're not. It doesn't matter, bro. Like I've told a lot of people this as well too. Like a lot of the AI agency owners, it's like, dude, you don't have to hide the prompts. Then again, they're paying you for the actual innovation, the actual service of building the thing, because they don't want to do it alone. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, anything else, bro? Like I'm literally an open book. I'm like, I don't have anything to sell you. I'm here to help everybody out in this community equally.
I think all the questions that I had listed, I have asked them all. And I really appreciate, I got to learn so much from you, bro. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you have
Yeah.
any other thing to talk about, I'm ready to listen.
Absolutely, bro. I think like I'm looking at you and I'm looking at the position you're in. You have already won because you're early. You are in the community where I'm going to scale this thing, and it's people are going to there's two directions that you can take with AI. You can spectate and see what other people are building, or you can get your hands dirty and actually participate in actually building cool things, right? I see you as being a participant, trying a bunch of different shit. Like, don't succumb to just like a specific type of, be flexible. If it's okay to have different skills in building these things, learn as much as you can. And then also that's my be the first to innovate. I would definitely say you want to be the person that shows up first at the party, and you want to be that person in the school community that's just I'm the owner of this, I help X build Y, and it's just I'm here to learn. I think the biggest mindset, the biggest like mentality, and like the most useful mentality is going to be like a learning mentality. It's like a student mentality in this space. You follow those milestones, bro, and I guarantee your success. 100%. I guarantee your success. The fundamentals will always outweigh the technical things. That's the point of the school. If you have any technical questions, I'll help you out, help figure out what the issue is. But I think 90% of the time people have a fundamental problem rather than a technical problem. I think most, and this is just to do with business as well too. It's funny to us when someone else is going through, it's like some kid is, let's just say, trying to build an agency, but can't start because they don't know what service to pick. And this lasts 9 months. It's like, I'm going to rip my hair out, man. But the reality is it's never a technical issue, really. It's always going to be a fundamental issue. Ask yourself the question, what niche do you want to serve? What problems do you want to solve? What do you have a passion for? Where do you see the biggest opportunity levers in that current market, right? Where do they exist? Lay all of them out on a table, figure out 2 to 3 of them that you can solve, one of them that you're really good at solving, and create a brand out of yourself. But the thing is, don't stop. Don't ever stop due to the feeling of, I'm not experienced, I'm not good enough, I'm not capable of doing this for this client. Because oftentimes you're going to surprise yourself. And I've already mentioned this to you as well too. I think most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they're able to do in a decade. It's only been about 6 years for me in business, and I look at it in the perspective of like decades. Like I haven't really achieved anything in it because I haven't been in business for a decade. I think most people are like, oh, I'm trying to get into business, I need to make 10K per month, like my first 30 days. It's if that happens to some people, right? But what happens when they're at the 10K a month, right? Let's just say they got lucky, right? What happens oftentimes is they're going to get complacent. They're going to stop doing what they did to get to that point, whether that's outreach, whether that's spending time with their clients, and they've just kicked off. I've seen this in the agency space. A lot of people in the agency space, the biggest, I think, breakthroughs is that 10 per month, right? When the jump from like 10K to 25K to 50K to 100K plus 250K mil, like that, I'm going to say that transition is more boring than people think, not glamorous. And the agency owner that's making 10K per month, the agency owner that's making like 250K per month, I'm going to tell you, the person that's making 250K per month is still trying to figure out what they want to do in their business. They're like, what do I do? Like it's like they're still just as unknowing and just as, I guess, like they're just like, it's so similar, bro. The thing is that person that's at 250 decided to take action. That person decided to do more, right? Because they acquired more clients, or they probably did more outreach. They probably focused on better systems. They probably read more books. They probably just did more of what we probably would expect. But that person at 10K is looking for the secret. So don't stop, because I'm going to tell you, I think that with AI, I honestly think that there is going to be one wave. I don't think that it's going to go away and come back like NFTs.
And it's much more than these chatbots and AI, voice.
Yeah.
Like, it's just one small spectrum of it.
Dude, yeah. Like Chat GPT is also like a small segment of AI. Like we're talking about business intelligence. Like a company, for example, is a complex hierarchical, it's like a triangle. You have smart people at the top, workers at the bottom, right? A company is like a triangle. It's like a complex hierarchy of people, right? This technology is coming in and it's like flipping it around. It's literally, it's like the people at the top are making decisions for the company. That's how companies are successful. But it's like when you're able to have technology that's able to scan the entire company, that's able to actually see the entire data infrastructure of the company, it's actually able to make decisions for the company. We might not have in the next 5, 10, 20 plus years, companies that are making decisions from the 1% of the company or 3% or the 5% of the company that's at the top of the triangle. We might have companies that are making decisions solely on AI. It's not too far away and it's not too far-fetched because it's able to actually look at data, analyze, see patterns, and it's just crazy. We really haven't even started. I think that in the next couple of years, it's going to be like this wave of software tools, software companies, AI SaaS companies, stuff like that. It's going to be a big deal for the next couple of years. And then when the tools come out and like a lot of big AI tools and Google's starting to adopt it in their products and stuff like that, Apple's going to push it out. I think it's going to be open game for agencies. Typically software is usually first to market, and then it's going to be bigger for agencies. And that's going to even cause more opportunity. So did you ever get access to the current status of AI, the video that I recorded? It's the 4th video. It's kind of a boring video, but this is literally the current statistics of AI, artificial intelligence in the global landscape currently right now today. Highly recommend. Because once you understand what's happening in the globe, what's happening in the world, And this is an AI adoption study of
So
people of
where
using.
is it? Is it?
Yeah, classroom, beginner AI crash course, and then it's the fourth video, the current status of AI. These are all videos that you need to go through, bro. The current status of AI is a video that I recorded a while ago, but I explain pretty much those topics. It's what are companies currently dealing with right now? This is a global AI adoption study. So it's like when you are trying to figure out your niche, when you are trying to figure out what problems to solve in your niche and what services to deliver, et cetera, this is currently where companies are at right now. And then in about 10 minutes in the video, I lay out the opportunities in AI. So there's a lot of in that video. Also, I shared a lot of the lessons that I've learned building Ideaify as well. And yeah, very, very valuable. I think you should watch, like everybody in this community needs to watch all of those. Super duper important for sure. Because how are you going to make decisions without knowing what the current landscape of AI is in your market? You should at least have somewhat of an understanding. You can't really approach a market blindly. That's probably going to be the dumbest thing that you do. So you have to know to a certain extent what AI adoption looks like in your segment of the market. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like you have to be aware of all these things. Like you must be, like every week there comes a new tool in AI.
Yep, exactly. And it's a very big opportunity for people looking to create software businesses, software companies. But I think if you look at people using AI currently right now, it's like you have a lot of people using it, but a small percentage of them are actually making it productive for their business. Most people are only familiar with consumer AIs like ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Claude, but most people don't even know you can plug ChatGPT in your business. Like using ChatGPT with make.com and like the softwares that people use, like Slack, Gmail, a lot of these other different applications. But this is why it's such a big opportunity for us because we can actually build it for them and it's no code. We don't have to have that much experience. I'm currently learning make.com as we speak. And my skills actually upskilling by joining different communities and learning how to build automations and stuff like that. And that's just what we have to do. And that's how I think AI adoption is going to be much more widespread. I think that AI softwares and tools going to be a big proponent of that. However, I think people like us, the enablers, the agencies, I think this is how it's going to be more widespread as well for companies to actually adopt it because everybody knows it's inevitable, right? This is like an easy selling point as well. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, right? So it's like, when are you going to enable this in your business? Are you going to do it today, tomorrow, in the next 20 years when it's too late? You tell me. But like when the competitors are already using it, use that to your advantage on your sales call. Yeah, that's like the biggest piece of advice, bro. And it's just like the things that I'm going to give in this community, like the content, everything inside of the community in the AI Academy, the classroom, all those videos are going to help you out so much. And you're going to be so familiar with like learning how to actually use these tools. And it's just like at the end of the day, like it's up to us how we want the future to look. Like we are totally in charge. Like what we do today when we're building, this is the thing with working with future technology, will completely dictate what the future looks like in the next 5 to 10 years. You know what I mean? So if we abuse the technology, we might not have it in the next 5 to 10 years. It might be heavily regulated, right? Or if we make it useful, we make it productive and it makes sense for society, we actually might, it might as a result make society more productive, solve more challenges. I think our artificial intelligence has an abundance of challenges, mostly due to not just technical things, but I think there's ethical things as well too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think that the government is looking into regulating it.
Yeah. The interesting part about regulation, and I think to a certain extent we need it, because if small organizations abuse the technology, it could be bad. But also I see this at the same argument where if you open source it and then somebody abuses deepfakes, that can be really bad. We don't want that. It's going to happen. Cybersecurity also is a thing as well too. I talk about the dangers in the video, but we need balance. And at the end of the day, I think it really boils down to what the company wants to do with it, rather than what the government regulators are going to want to do with it. So it all really depends what the company wants. But yeah, it's going to pose a lot of challenges for sure. There's going to be so many opportunities. With challenges comes opportunities. Like one of the biggest ones that we see with consumer AIs is hallucinations, deepfakes, misinformation, bias, right? There are companies that are focusing specifically on those problems. AI companies right now, one of the fastest growing, focusing on cybersecurity. They created an AI model. For example, in school, the company built an AI tool to analyze students' essays and predict if AI generated. So it's like the invention of fire. It's inevitable, it's going to happen. But as a result, to deal with this, we have to create fire departments, fire distinguishers, the technology that's able to control it. People who are able to actually create those departments, create technology that's able to harness the damage of what it can do, can also make a lot of money as well. And then again, it will happen. There are a lot of, I think the societal bias is going to be the most dangerous personally, because it influences AI algorithms on social media platforms, influence our beliefs. YouTube is optimized for extremism. TikTok is optimized for retention. Instagram is all about looks, right? So you see these AI models, like the algorithms is AI. It's dangerous technology, it's powerful technology, but at the end of the day, it really depends on what we want to do with it. And the coolest part is, yeah, it's going to get cheaper along the way. It's just gonna get better. But yeah, man, keep up the great work in the AI Academy. I'm gonna post this in the classroom. But yeah, it was a good conversation, bro. Yeah. Do you have any other questions before we part ways, or anything that like you want to ask me and we'll end off on?
No, I don't have such specific questions. I had noted some questions about, and I actually had
Sure.
them from ChatGPT.
Yeah, ask away. What's up?
Yeah, so one question was that how does Ideaify integrate and update the latest AI models, and what sets it apart from the other AI content tools like the other competitors?
We update the AI models pretty much on a daily basis. If within our content generators, we have GPT 3.5, GPT 4, GPT 4.0, Google Gemini. Of course, if users are able to get access to different more models, we update that on a daily basis. We try to use the models that are going to be the most effective with content generation. There's some models that just, it doesn't make sense, but the ones that we like to keep updated, because people don't really care about the models necessarily. We just tell our users, hey, test out different models. Sometimes, for example, writing blog posts, Google Gemini does do better because it's a Google product. So it scans the internet and give you better SEO analysis. To answer your question, we have to internally do that. We have to constantly keep updated with OpenAI's developer APIs, which is really important as an AI enabler. That's what our responsibility is, which is going to be in the beginner AI crash course. It's going to be like AI growth operations. You have to be on top of the advancements in the AI APIs. And then the other thing was, how does our product separate from our competitors? Honestly, we focus on a better user experience and tools that have better prompts on the back end. Some of our competitors have tools, blog posts, for example, but ours is able to collect more specific information by asking more inputs. As a result, the output's better because the user gave the AI more information. So they're going to get more value from using Ideaify compared to the generic write a blog post about this. Our competitor software tools, for example, like we have one called copy.ai. It's technically a content generator. However, the users still have to input the prompt. That's what delineates us from the rest. Also, I want to focus more on educational content as well. I think a lot of AI SaaS companies aren't building really good products, but they're not showing how to use it. They're not informing not only like how users use this, but the purpose of the why, not the how. People are looking for that. We've filmed a lot of onboard like tutorial videos and all of our tools that show use case specifically for that tool. So it's like that's what we're capitalizing on. And then also like I just haven't seen any other content generator out there that has make.com, AI automation blueprints. So it's like we're doing something completely different compared to. So essentially what we did in my approach.
Do you have bot building tools in it or not yet?
I don't know. I don't, unfortunately. Yeah, that's something that we had in Ideaify. We do have a chatbot in there. Like we have B2C chatbots. So like, or I guess like internal chatbots technically that people are able to use in Ideaify. So these are our chatbots, all fine-tuned based off of like departments within a company. You probably have seen them. And like a lot of people actually use those. Like, for example, we have an IT chatbot, and instead of coming to me or going to Google or searching up, that chatbot is already pre-configured to answer IT related questions. So it's, I have this problem. What softwares can I use to solve this problem? And it actually gives recommendations or suggestions exactly how those chatbots should work. So like, we don't have chatbot building software. Like the way that we're able to solve that, the way that I'm able to do that is in the school community, teaching people fundamentally what AI is, and then also leading them up to the point of here's how to build these chatbots, or this is no code chatbot building software. Just use this. It's like, why build something? For example, why would I build voice flow in Ideaify? That doesn't even make sense. It's just like adjusting to the market, really. The market needs the content generators. The market needs AI automations and workflows. But on top of that, most importantly, the market, or at least my audience, needs education as to like how to use these and then what the importance is overall. So to answer your question, yeah, that's really like with Ideaify specifically, those are my answers to those questions.
So that was it, man. I don't have any questions.
Right on, bro. Right on. Yeah, we'll just end it off there. I really hope that was a valuable call. Hopefully that, hopefully that helped you a lot.
Thanks, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, bro. So yeah, I'll go ahead and post this recording when I get it in our community resources. So if you want to, I'm actually going to transcribe this whole thing using AI, and then I'm going to clip it up and stuff like that. But I'm going to timestamp different things so that you can always refer back to our conversation. But yeah, other than that, if you have no more questions, I don't think I need anything else from you. Did you, let's see. Oh, if you don't mind, I moved the introductions category to a separate thread in the community. If you haven't already, that would be amazing to post an introduction. I'm trying to get most of our members to post their introductions because I moved it. We're just going to start from scratch, but definitely feel free to talk about pretty much anything what you're building. You can even talk about our call. I'll pin the post. But yeah, super straightforward. It's going to be under the community tab and then in the introductions chat.
Yeah, I found it. So do you want me to introduce myself?
Yeah. We'd love to just share what you're building, share what your goal is with AI. It's the point, the reason why I do that is so that in the next year, the next 2-3 years, you can see like how far you've come. You're probably most of the people inside of this community, their goal is I want to learn more about AI and then get into this. I promise you in the next year, you're going to achieve that, whether you like it or not. So it's exciting stuff.
I hope I achieve all this.
No doubt, man. You will 100%. Like it, you have the resources to do everything, but like I would say what stops, and we'll leave off on this, is like what stops people from achieving what they want to achieve isn't the lack of knowledge, it's the lack of action. It's they just haven't done the thing.
Yeah,
that makes
exactly.
sense.
It's actually my second time starting it. It was, I think, 6 months ago, I had started working on all these things, but then I somehow stopped. And then after 6 months, I again started all this. But this
100%.
time, I think I'm not going to leave all this. Yeah.
You know how you win? When failure isn't an option. When you actually make it work is when you win. Most people, again, they will come into this and don't be this person. I tried it for 6 months. It didn't work. Dude, you will fail if you quit. And there's no going back. I will say that, again, it will boil down to how bad you want to make it work. And then also it will boil down to like how willing you are to innovate on top of meaningful problems. So it's, if you're able to do that, you'll be fine. I promise you that. I've literally built an entire career for myself in AI in 2 years. Most people probably won't be able to do that. They probably won't be willing to dedicate 2 years of their life due to technology that they don't know is like uncertain. But the more that we progress with AI, the more that we advance in it, it becomes more certain every single day that it is the future. And at this point, I'm like 100% sure that companies are going to be using it in the future. So I am wanting to participate in that as much as possible. I'm willing to fail as much as possible. And when you fail forward, don't fail backwards and not learn from your mistakes. One thing that one of my mentors told me is a mistake that happens more than once is a decision. Interesting one, right? So if you make a couple of mistakes, make adjustments and see that as a point to get better and improve. But I guarantee you, if you wanted to guarantee failure, is you stop. And if you become complacent or you just try all of these other things, don't do that. So that, again, was a mistake in the past. And I've made that mistake as well, too. And it's just figure, like, you want to double down on something that you're certain in and then just run with it. Do anything and everything that you can to make that thing happen. And like, I promise you, like, your business, and this is like business lessons, like I have a lot of these, but like, your business works more on you than you work on it. I'll leave off on that. Mic drop. It's just, yeah, looking forward to hearing your introduction, Mohammed. It was nice meeting you.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, man.
Definitely feel free to, yeah, man, I want to see you on our other Q&A calls. We have another one this Friday, and we have one every Tuesday. Yeah, really looking forward to hearing more from you, reading your introduction. And yeah, man, keep it up. I will update the school community when I'm going to be posting more content in there. And this is, again, I'm making content for you. I'm making content for everybody learning and growing in this community. Feedback is much appreciated. Engagement is much appreciated. So help me help you. But yeah, other than that, please don't hesitate if you have any more questions. Bombard me with questions on these Q&A calls. This is exactly what I made them for. But other than that, yeah, man, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon, man.
Okay, man.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.